Hi there and welcome as we discuss the 3 keys of becoming a witness to Jesus in our world. And these 3 keys that we are discussing is that you would progressively over life come to grow in your love for Jesus, that you would discover your design in Jesus, and that you would just introduce others to Jesus. So in the second of 3 teaching on this middle value, that we would discover our design in Jesus, I want us to see today that we are all wired in a certain way. Romans 12 verse 4 says, just as our bodies have many parts and each part has a special function, so it is with Christ's body. We are many parts of one body and we all belong to each other. In His grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. And He goes on to describe some of those giftings. But did you see the word function? The body has the same goal, the same mission, but different functions. I would say that the way that we are put together, our personalities, the fact that we are introverts and extroverts, these are not bugs. It's part of the design. Psychotherapist Marty Laney, she describes that the far end of the spectrum of introvert and extrovert, we can call them the innies and the outies. We are all on a spectrum of being an innie or an outie person. No one is perfectly one or the other. We are all kind of a combination of the two. One person might say, I don't want to knock on the door of a stranger and start talking about Jesus, but I wouldn't say that I'm an introvert. Someone else might say, listen, I prefer to be a bit more quiet and pull back, but they become the life of the party when it's in a smaller group. We are all a combination of these things. Here's maybe one way to think about it. Extroverts are like solar panels. They get their energy by being out there and connected to people. So they can function alone for a couple of hours, but that drains them. And eventually, instinctively, they go out and they want to connect with people again to re-energize them. And in general, about extroversion, we can say things like the bigger the group, the better for that person. They think out loud, and the more friends they have, the better they feel. They prefer talking to writing, and they love multitasking. These are generalities, but these are the kinds of things that if you're an extrovert, you gravitate to. Introverts are like rechargeable batteries. They produce lots of energy, but eventually they need to pull back again in isolation and recharge. So they do get their energy by being alone. We can also generally say things like they function best in smaller social settings. They enjoy quiet environments. They do their best thinking alone. They function their best when they are able to think deeply, and they don't like shallow relationships. They love focusing on one thing at a time. So the implications are so clear for sharing our faith. More extroverted evangelism would mean that you are not afraid to speak up. You can approach people easily. You think on your feet in a conversation. You're not intimidated by someone's questions. You are willing to take risks, and you're not afraid to talk about tough issues. But also for the more introverted person, evangelism looks like this. You are sensitive to how people experience interactions. You can reach people who are more quiet and think more deeply. You cannot be turned off as easily by someone's walls being up emotionally. And you have the patience to let God use you in someone's life over a long period of time. And you are comfortable with reaching less people, but doing that in a much deeper relational way. Friends, discovering your design in Jesus means that you are working with the way that you are wired and not against it. This is how we become a witness.